Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about Super 7 and how they're kind of creating some false scarcity with their product. Now, I've seen this with Fans Toys, Transformers. I've seen this with many other companies. Hasbro's done it, and 2024 is a tough year to navigate. And I try to give advice, but I think I'm going to stop giving advice because I can't really believe everything that's going on. But I want to assure you guys one thing. I'm the biggest Super 7 shill. If you don't believe me, look it up on YouTube. Look it up on, is this a wiki post? And find out that yes, the Titanium Hangar is the biggest Super 7 Ultimate shill out there. Not a reaction shill. I don't really care about those or some other stuff they make, but the reality of it is that I love what Brian does. You know, the fact that Brian's out there and he puts himself out there, he puts his ideas out there, his opinions out there, his business philosophies, and his politics, which by the way, I 100% disagree with every single aspect of Brian's political affiliation and his everything. But I still think the guy is cool. I like him, and I absolutely support his products. Well, just the ones that I like. And I'm trying to be one of his reviewers. I'm like his biggest shill. I love his stuff. And in fact, I just shipped my BBTS order. 72% of my BBTS order was Super 7 product. And that really dominates every shipment from BBTS. And it will do it going forward no matter what. Even though some of these tactics I don't really like. I'll call them out for it, but I'll still praise because I like the product. And I've got a slew of things that I want to talk about in this video coming up. So if you watch my I'm the biggest Super 7 shill video, you're going to see that I have his Master of the Universe stuff, I have Silverhawks, I have Thundercats, and at the end of the day, I really do like what Mattel did. The Matty Collector stuff is great. And Brian is carrying on Matty Collector stuff. Now, people do try to say that a lot of the stuff is 10 years old, 12, 13, 15 years old. I don't even know when Matty Collector started, but they carried on the same buck and similar design style as the Four Horsemen did over a decade ago. And I loved what the classics was. And I still love classics, and I have a lot of classics figures now. But they are actually moving forward and changing a few things, but most people complain about articulation, and I don't really care. I don't care about the limited articulation. I would just like Silverhawks to look up. As I started buying up some Super 7 stuff for the Thundercats era, I realized that I had pretty much every single thing made from Mattel. And it was carried forward the same but different when we saw it with Super 7. They had added more accessories, and the colors were slightly different and a little bit more vibrant. And then we get to the toy era, which I said, why bother? I've got all this stuff. And after some time, I did order one of each to keep sealed. And the way I collect is, I usually collect 3 of each, but, you know, hard times in America, so I'm only down to 2 of each. I buy one original at full price. Then I scour the internet for months, if not a year and a half, to find one for a better price as an opener and a displayer. And with that, it's been really challenging lately. So with this wave here, it took almost a year for me to do that. We look at some modern waves, and I look at this and I say, well, I knew that the Wily Kit and Wily Cat, those were Mattel exclusives that were SDCC and very extremely limited. And I only lucked out because I bought a guy's entire collection. It's the only way I got it. He dumped it at like super bargain basement discount price to me. And that's the only way I got them. But then I started looking at, I was like, these are worth, literally, just Wile E. Kit and Wile E. Cat was worth more than I paid for a guy's entire collection. The whole collection back in the day. And we're talking years ago. And looking at this, I'm thinking, I know there are a ton of collectors out there that don't have these figures. So I had to pre-order it right away. And then I pre-ordered the whole wave because it makes a lot of sense. But I want to point out to you, this wave here, Super 7 stopped with waves. You had to get them all individual. It's individuals. I don't really know exactly why BBTS stopped with waves. Super 7 always does waves. I'm sorry, that's wrong. But BBTS is where I get it from. Not straight from Super 7, because I don't want to pay up front 2 years in advance. And BBTS stopped doing full waves with this wave. It was kind of confusing, but it starts to make a little bit more sense because of this false scarcity thing that's going on. Now we do see that there's another toy wave out there. It doesn't seem to be very popular, the toy color stuff, even though I love it. And I pre-ordered one of each separately on BBTS because you can't get the whole wave. And I realized that the kit, the Kit Kat, whatever, this is the cat, has sold out. And none of the rest have. So I doubled up on the Lunatics because I know those are the best thing that Super 7's making in this line. But the other two, the Groon, the Jaga, they're also really awesome. Now there's no real evidence of the future wave of what's going on with the Thundercats as being shorted or false scarcity. But we see it really predominant when it comes to Silverhawks. Now, I want to point out real quick that I was not going to buy a $150 Space Racer vehicle in the Silverhawks Ultimates when I got the Mandora in her cycle or whatever, Mandora's vehicle. I bought it full price, and then I did not buy a second to open because I was real skeptical. I was starting to shut down the way overspending I was doing back in the day, and I'm glad I did because I found it half the price for somebody selling it loose on eBay. And then I'm looking at this and thinking I'll do the same thing, and Brian flat out tells you no. He says if you don't pre-order it and you want it, it will not be available when it comes due. So when it's delivered, it'll all be sold out. If it says sold out, it's sold out. And nobody's going to have any more stuff. So I did do the FOMO, and I bought the Space Racer, and I already pre-ordered the Copper Kid, so that was no big deal. But it'll be interesting to see if I'm right that the Space Racer vehicle shows up in stock when they ship. Because I think they might. But I pre-ordered it anyway, and I'd buy a second one at half price or whatever if they go on sale. Alright, so we're getting into this wave of Silverhawks. Now, this has been out for at least 3 months, because I got my first set. And I waited for 3 months. Nobody anywhere on the internet was selling these cheaper than full price. Now, I saw Entertainment Earth, they do these weird, damaged box stuff. It shows up 2 or 3 of them or something, I don't know. And they sell out super fast. I've never gotten one. And then I've never seen enough of them in stock at a time to ship them for free. And so it's not worth the discount. So, seriously, 3 months later, I bought the whole wave again so I can actually open them because I don't want to miss out. But I'm really going to be sucker punched in the gut if November and the Black Friday sale and they're putting this out for half price, I'll probably buy another. Now the toy version Vac Metal Silverhawks. These have caused so many waves, problems, irritations with collectors. First of all, people that bought the Primer Hawks, the ones that look like they're sculpted out of clay, and the colors are not shiny at all, and they don't match the renders. Now we've got these really nice vac metal figures, which is the way they should have come. But I'm not even going to slight Super 7 for this. Most people bash them saying they forced you to buy the first ones, and now they're giving you what you want. And I'm just going to say I'm glad they're doing it. I'm glad they're making it. But they're having a lot of problems. And the problems they're having aren't the ones I expected. Even though I collected this, the vintage ones, I just assumed the ones I had were played with really hard. But when you vac metalize these things, the paint over the vac metal is super fragile. So face chipping, the right arms chipping, all that kind of stuff is going on with these figures. I've not opened mine because, well, my extreme fear. I'm kind of hoping I find somebody out there that's selling a beat up set that still is shiny and I can touch up the paint myself for really, really cheap. But that's just a hope. That's called hopium. That's a drug called hopium. I still possess the hopium. I just want to say that Playtime Returns was the first YouTube channel to get Super 7 Ultimates, Thunderhawks, Silverhawks. They actually, he says that Brian, somewhere in some interview somewhere, says the next one coming is Bluegrass and Steel Will in vac metal. And then there's more in that wave. And he predicts Yes Man, which would be great, and Hardware. But I gotta say, if they put out more vac metal, I'm going to do the same thing I did. I'm pre-ordering right away because of the FOMO, the false scarcity rumors, or maybe reality, the scares. I'm pre-ordering those right away, like I did with this, even though this is about to happen. Alright, so I'm going to get right down to the nitty-gritty. This is really why this video exists. I did not want to make this video. I did not want to say this. I didn't want to talk about this. I did not want to bring this to light, but everybody out there that's paying $150, $90, $75, $88, $275 per figure for these vac metalized figures, BBTS has a backup for pre-order. Now, I fell for it. I bought more than one. And I'm not going to lie. I pre-ordered another Quicksilver just because. But this is really proof that we're going to see some false scarcity, some fake inventory, some fake FOMO that's put into the market. And I don't like that. You know, if you make your decision based on, okay, these are short run. And then now what? Another 1,000? 5,000, 12,000, 20,000. Who knows how many more are showing up? And then you pre-order 3. Is 3 a ridiculous amount? No. Is 5, 20? I mean, who knows? But this is kind of crazy. So nobody has any idea if this stuff will hit clearance. Now, the problem is I feel ultra, super duper, ultra crunchy when I pay full price, and in November, it's half price, a third of the price, because it's on clearance sale. Now, I gotta say, G.I. Joe stuff, the Ultimates, I love it. It is, I've not said that I'm holding a classified, and I'm holding in a Super 7 Ultimates and said, I like the classified more. I've not been in that position ever. Even if I've got 4 versions of Roadblock or 2 versions of Lady J, 3 versions of Lady J, 2 versions of Duke, at the end of the day, I like every one of the Super 7 Ultimates figures better every time. But I pre-order one right away, and I hope somebody out there actually, for whatever reason, doesn't like theirs and sells it for cheap. And I find it somewhere on all the different platforms and buy it cheap so I can display one. Have a sealed one to display. But basically, Super 7 is trying to say that all these things are short run or made to order. But what we're seeing is, no, they're not, because they're not selling out really anywhere else other than Super 7. Now, I've slow rolled myself with classified. I used to buy 2-3 classified figures of every figure, no matter what the price, what the cost, whatever happened. And I've realized that I'm not opening hardly any of them because I'm waiting for Super 7. And I have a lot of faith. Sadly, I have a lot of faith that Super 7 is going to make the characters I like the most. And I'll be able to display them. And I will actually gut my entire display and redo it just to give room to Super 7. And I'm not willing to do that for classifieds. That means a lot. That says a lot. I'm literally going to take away 12-15% of my vintage G.I. Joe display and allocate it to Super 7 that would never do that for classified, which is a big, big deal. And will they give us cool stuff like this? This once a man Cobra Commander? I don't know. But this really does feel more like something Super 7 would do than Hasbro. And I think Hasbro's been watching Super 7 and thinking, let's one-up them before they get to it. Now, lastly, I want to say that some of the stuff Super 7's put out as repaints or remolds into clear, all this stuff. And I want to pass on this stuff. But I'm falling for this FOMO. Even though I've seen the Silverhawks go back up for pre-order at BBTS, meaning that they had another 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 12,000, who knows, in reserve. This is sold out on BBTS. And I started to have that FOMO, that fear of missing out. Now, is this false scarcity? Because Amazon has absolutely no limit to how many of these you can order, which makes me start to wonder, is this thing going to be one of those $30 clearance sales in 2027? Is the quick pick that I picked up an extra quick pick also, is that going to be the same thing? I don't know. Am I being fooled into paying full price when I could have got it cheaper? I don't know. And lastly, I got to say that will they make Copper Kid? Will they make the Hot Wing? Will they actually make a Moonstriker and a Flashback in the VAC metal versions? I don't know. Will they even make Moonstriker and Flashback? I don't know. I hope they do, and I'd be in on everyone. I'm literally in on everyone. Remember, I'm the biggest shill for Super 7, but I've got my doubts or concerns, and I really do want to see all this stuff come to light. I want to see this line survive, because if it starts over, I might not live to see it finished. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that Super 7's doing a little bit of this FOMO, doing a little bit of false scarcity going on? And do you collect these lines? Did you fall for any of this? Or did you double down and triple down like I did? Like and subscribe. Don't ever hang her out.